This is Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Your way of tapping into the Force from a galaxy far, far away. Hello there.
Hello, what have we here? Here's where the fun begins.
Count me in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Today, we continue our Rebels rewatch with Season 1, Episodes 8 and 9, titled Empire Day and Gathering Forces, respectively, and they are written, respectively, by Henry Gilroy and Greg Weisman, directed by Stephen G. Lee and Stuart Lee. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and I'm ready to talk some more Rebels, as I think we've hit the best episodes of the season yet.
Yes.
Man, this cooked.
Oh, we did. Oh, and we were talking how we were getting the good old character episodes, and we were building them up. We're building everybody up, and I said, I wonder when that dynamic will switch a little bit, and we'll just start to get just kind of good episodes. I guess this is still building Ezra pretty hard. But man,
everything kind of like I said, he's the main character. Everything kind of builds him, you know. It's never like there's not character building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because,
like it's always going to show you a little bit of somebody, but like you know, this does give you a keen insight into his backstory a bit more. Is the death of his parents and such, and he doesn't know that yet, but
rough.
Yeah, like we learn a little more about his backstory, and I think that's important. But yeah, like you said, it's just these are a couple just good fucking episodes, a good back-to-back through line with Sibo. I like Sibo. I think it is so fucking funny that the Empire cannot find the one Rodian with the fucking head piece on. They're looking at every Rodian and like studying, and they're like, no, it's not him. Bro, he's got a fucking cybernetic head implant.
Yeah, it's pretty clear when you got him. I don't know. Well, maybe a little just the suspects are matching the description so they can take, I don't know if they're going for that there, but
I think they might be. The thing that just like gives me the hang up, I'm like, the dude's got a giant cybernetic ring around his head. It's like, you know, like
you
I
obviously
know which
from
one is Sibo.
100 yards away that it's not him. You know before you even come up to talk to him it's not him. Yeah, that's
and I guess like maybe he could have figured out how to take it off or something, or maybe, you know, like it's something like that, I guess. But like I don't think they are something you can take off once you have them on. I feel like that's a permanent part of your being.
Yeah, poor Sibo. I don't know why it's a
Sibo.
Tough, it's hard for me.
It's the T at the beginning.
To get there.
It's
I feel like I need to say it.
Sibo,
but it's just really Sibo. I gave him the character for the second episode. You know, I feel like I wanna try to spread the love as much as I can, but it felt like just him coming in and out and like what made him come in and out was really cool. And then just kind of having that reunion that Ezra's like, this is not the best time to have this, whatever. I guess it's the cliffhanger at the end, but then I think the juice of it really comes in the second episode here. And I don't know.
Yeah, because the Empire Day one is the more fun one, and then Gathering Forces, you get to the intense side of the well of Ezra's emotion, you know. Because I mean, Empire Day, I ended up going with the same performance and character for both episodes, so it was nice and easy. I gave Taylor Gray as Ezra the performance in both episodes. He's really fucking good. And then for the character in both, it ended up being Kanan, which I didn't fully anticipate. But like in the first one, Kanan's fucking funny. Empire Day. Woo! All hail our glorious empire. You know, like
sorry guys,
they're definitely going for something there. Which is very funny.
Oh yeah. Did I put it here? I thought I did. I thought I was the line of Ezra being like, "Sorry guys, my dad's just super patriotic, you know.
Yeah, right,
sorry,
right.
You don't mind him." But yeah, he's fully owning the dad role now, Kanan. You know, Ezra comes out and is like, "Sorry, like that's my dad. You know, Dad, what are you doing? You know, or whatever." To the troopers, was it just me, or did the troopers' armor get like a upgrade visually this episode? I don't like they were shiny, like just so glimmery and shiny. And
I don't know. It might have been the lighting of this episode. There's a couple times during this episode that I was really, really struck by the details. Whenever the ship is exploded and they're running away and Zeb gets Callus in his sights, he's like, "Oh, I've been waiting to finish things with Agent Callus." And he's like, "If you want to shoot somebody, shoot that guy." And he blows up the TIE fighter behind him. There's like a close-up on the Inquisitor's face and his eyes twitch.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, like they are cooking, you know, like his eyes start like fluttering like in anger. And I'm like, that's fucking good. Like that's
pure yellow. And he like, and yeah, he has like I feel like even like a lip twitch maybe there too of just like he's pissed. Like dude is lit, like just full on dark mode. Yeah. He's not having it. And Empire Day.
No, so like I didn't catch that specifically regarding the stormtroopers, but I did want to point out that there were points where I was like, they cooked on the animation here for sure.
It looked good. No, it looked good, and then just cool visuals of exiting hyperspace. You know, just all the rainbow and whatever. Yeah. That was cool. The fireworks,
like a rainbow. Maybe a little bit of a foreshadowing there for what was to come with the exiting hyperspace. But
man, this felt like the first kind of is this the first to be continued and then picked up like an act, like a super cliffhanger right at the end, or because like
so far in the series, yes, but episode 1 has a to be continued, but the thing is that episode 1 and 2 actually aired as one. So like when it comes to when it was on the air, this is the first actual cliffhanger, and it's a good cliffhanger. He says he knows what happened to your parents. Yeah, like that's hard. That's a good ending.
So when this is coming out though, did this come out when Disney Plus first was a thing, or is this on net?
This is Disney XD.
So this is on network. Holy crap. So like you would you actually have to wait
5 years? Yes, yeah. These came out a week apart.
Oh man, yeah. That would. I mean, it'd be really fun to watch this live, like to actually have to be paced that way.
Oh yeah. And it was the mid-season finale, like before they took their winter break on network TV. It's like the holiday season is typically devoid of new television. So like after episode 9. We finished this arc and they don't come back until after Christmas. So like it was like a little mid-season break. And I think it was a fitting place to do that. It's we feel like we've reached somewhere, you know, like this is a whole new step for our characters, and I think it's really good because I mean, the end of the second episode is really why Kanan is the character for me. Like you said, him embracing the dad mode. Oh my God. Does it just hit me like a fucking truck whenever Ezra's like, "What happened? I'm so cold." And he's like, I know. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You know, like he's not mad. He's just comforting. Bro, oh my God, does it hit me like a truck when he's like, "It's okay. No, don't worry. You know, like oh my God. It just really, really works for me. And like the genuine fear he has for him because, well, and you commented last week about how, or a couple weeks ago, whenever the Inquisitor's like, the dark side, he's like, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Literally comes back around in the lesson this week whenever Kanan's like, I didn't prepare you properly. I didn't tell you what all the facets of the Force, you know, like it's glad we pointed that out a couple weeks ago because that's exactly what happens this week. And that hit.
And that was like, I'm already like, these episodes are getting me to cry now. Like this is these are like some good cries too, and they feel pretty good. And whenever I was already there, Kanan just like comforting him, and like I'm starting to tear up. And then when he was like, "It's my failure. Like I didn't teach you enough. Like I am so sorry." And like I was just, oh my God. And then
it connects to the acolyte from a few weeks back. Whenever you know Soul's like, well, if she did this, it is my failure too. Like it is like. Whenever a pupil falls to the dark side, the master feels the same guilt, and I think that's that's really, really cool.
And then Sabine giving him I cleaned up the disc, this is what I got,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ezra Bridger. Oh my God.
He's like, he
my
already needed to be like alone, so he's just out looking at space. And then like I'm already kind of like tearing up and like, man, that'd be really fucking cool to be in a chair and then like surrounded by space, whatever. That's
right.
one like side thought. And then Sabine walks in and I'm like, what does she give him? Is it an audio recording? I'm like, is it that? And then the picture popped up and I was like, oh, I was like, no. And it was just and him just. His face, he has that spark again.
He lights up.
I was just like, oh my God.
It's good. It's good. And it's so fucking cute, man. And actually heavy, like I said, like him touching the dark side, like it's my favorite scene in the second episode whenever he unleashes the beast, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanan being like, Ezra, no, fuck, I did not prepare you for this sort of thing. I love that moment, and the animation on the Grand Inquisitor whenever he's got the sabers dragging on the ground and like the red and blue are lighting him up, like God damn does it look good. It looks fucking cold. And it was just really cool to see that all the stuff we've done was working towards this, like we kicked off episode, I think it was the beginning of these two episodes where he's trying to connect with a Lothcat and he's like, give me the lightsaber, I'll make the connection, showing that he could, like, he's got a dark instinct, and it scared it Kanan's like, hold the fucking phone, man, that's not a joke you make, like, don't play with me like that, and It really, really works. I think and then like from the episode before being these creepy crawler, nasty motherfuckers, a couple episodes before that being the Inquisitor being like the dark side, and I don't know anything about it. Like it's just really, really impressive to see them take serialized storytelling and make it pay off so quick. And I really appreciate that.
I think it's also really cool that they establish how he was just. I felt cold, like, and I don't even remember what happened, kind of like it wasn't even him at that point. It's like once he goes past that threshold, he's like, he's still the one doing it, and he's still the one that got him there,
right.
Sure. But like it's after the fact, he's like,
blacking out.
Yeah, what did I even do? Like and it's, I love the coldness, like, and then when Vader comes, and they just feel the cold from Vader's presence eventually. Like I just, the coldness, I feel like that. Is it in the? I feel like they say I feel cold in the original trilogy somewhere.
It's the Phantom Menace you're thinking.
Oh, it
of.
is.
It's Anakin. They're asking what it's like. How, I think Padme asks him how he likes space or something, and he's like, it's really cold. Like he's just like kind of,
Dang. So is it
young?
Is it the dark side innately that's cold? Or, like, is Vader, like, making people feel cold as well because he knows, like, it's more
I think
fearful,
there's a little bit of
like,
both. I think it's kind of the same as the way, like, the High Republic dives into the way that different people view the Force. Like, for one Jedi, it's a song. For another, it's an ocean. For another, it's a fire. For others, it's a galaxy. So, like, I think when it comes to the dark side, it's kind of a similar thing. For some, it's cold. For some, it's piping hot. For some, it's like it's
chaos or like
okay.
You
just don't know. And I think that like I do think there's a general soullessness to the dark side they try to get at with the cold thing, but I don't think that's an innately Vader trait. I think it just happens to be the case with Vader as well. I think the dark side brings that about, and he's just really emanating the dark. Okay. And I think that's cool. That's really cool. But,
yeah, and even Kanan got to spar with the Inquisitor for a little bit there. It was really if I had to pick one shot, like a freeze frame, it was them like first running at each other.
Yeah,
just a classic kind of before they go. But I mean, even the little fight that we got was, I don't know, it was just surprisingly good.
Well
like,
animated.
And I love just the lighting of the sabers on the Inquisitor's face, or anytime they can use just the red and the blues. It always looks good, and
it looks great, man. Yeah, my favorite shot from the second episode was when Ezra connects with the beasts and he's standing in front of them and he's holding his hand out. Kanan's mesmerized, and them pointing is also a good one. That's a good one too. But
when they first connect to them,
when they're all sitting, and that it's right after he's like, "I'm so sorry," he locks in after apologizing to Sibo.
That was another
Sibo being
moment.
like, "Ezra Bridger, I am so sorry.
Yes.
I hope you can forgive me."
They really had a moment there,
they had a moment,
and Sibo, from Ezra being like, I forget, like forcefully like connecting there, but Sibo like seemingly like he knows he's talking to Ezra like there, like is what it like they were like truly connected there. And
Ezra touched his mind, yeah, for sure. And like I have a tough time reading whether or not. I think it's one way. I think he hears Ezra. I don't think Ezra hears Sibo. Maybe he feels his intent.
So he's kind of just responding to the air, Sibo.
Like he's like, "I'm sorry, Ezra." Like it kind of wakes him up. He's like, "Oh yeah, here I am." I'm in there. And no, I mean, so like it's a couple really fun episodes. I think that specifically the first one, and really, really heavy in the second one. But I love Hera, kind of, again, mom of the group, them pulling up at the end, being like, she's the one who's going to tell Ezra his parents are dead.
Yeah, like
she's ready to bear that burden. She's like, Ezra, I need to talk to you. And Kanan, dad of the group, going, he needs to be alone right now.
Yep, not yet.
Let him
whatever it is.
Room,
no, could have been good news for all he knew. He's like, but no, nothing.
Doesn't matter.
Nothing right now. And
I guess that's just good stuff. And the person he needs is the person who provides him the most comfort, whether he likes it or not. It's Sabine. And it's a cute little moment.
You think they had that conversation? Really so Ezra's alone. He's alone, and so there's in my head they had like a little conversation.
All four of them are.
They're talking how
how
do we approach this? Hera, do you go? Sabine, well, he really likes you, Sabine. I don't know, but like really, it's just dropping off this disc. It doesn't really, it's like
right.
I feel like they just had this kind of little internal debate there.
I like that concept too. I think that there's also the fact that Sabine doesn't abide by anybody's given rules. Ezra needs to be alone. I've got something that can cheer him up. Fuck it, I don't care. I'll go in there.
That's true. She did have the disc on her own, and like I love that whenever she first saw it, or like Ezra handed it off. It might have been my line actually. Yeah, Ezra says, "My folks used to do underground broadcasts from here, speaking out against the Empire. It's probably just one of them." Ezra saying it is like, they used to do this thing down here, but like
it's what got them killed. Like I don't know why I would want. I don't know why I would want this.
But then Sabine sees it as kind of like, oh my god, like I feel like she kind of has like your parents are fucking dope as shit, and then she's like, no, we need to, you're throwing this away like it's nothing. This is like I instantly know what to do with this. I have to fix it for you, and it's cool that it comes back around at the end there, and yeah, it might be more actually individual, and they didn't have that little debate, before. It was Sabine just being like, no,
Ezra goes to the other room. Hera's like, oh god, his parents are like so dead.
And it's his birthday, and like it's Empire Day, and just not a lot of things flooding back. He had to walk into his home for the first time again, and that was a kind of a great. But whenever everyone was like, "Where are we? This is blocked off by the Empire. We can't go in there," and then he just opens up the door, and then like Kanan realizes like, oh my god, this was your home, and is Sibo? Yeah. Has he just been hunkering down there? How long's Sibo been down there?
Yeah, he's been hiding out. No telling. Probably not very long. It's a relatively fresh search. They are pretty. They haven't been looking for Sibo. They are now looking for Sibo. I love the bar they go to at the beginning, where they're like, you got to be playing the Imperial Broadcast Network at all times. He's like, literally nobody has ever requested that. Why would I play that? It's the law. Yeah, no,
it's the propaganda. It's the like, and what is the Senator or what?
Gall Travis.
Is he senator or just
senator in exile?
Yeah, Senator Gall Travis. God damn it, man! It's this dang information. The information
boycott all Empire Days
does not want you to hear. Listen in here, folks, and man,
boycott all Empire Day celebrations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and the fact that they were not going to have fireworks at all, and that's completely a Sabine thing, and then the girl is like, "Oh, great job! You've the Emperor will be very proud of this." It's like, so they were really just gonna tanks and weapons cheer, and like
and the fucking guy who was gonna pilot the TIE had the most Nazi fucking name I've ever heard in my life. I gotta find what that guy's name was. It was like Baron. Von Strasberg,
God. Oh man, how do you look up that guy?
I'm looking up. I know
Baron
it was
Valen Rudor.
Rudor, yeah, Baron Valen Rudor.
Wow,
which is just fucking great. A TIE fighter pilot transferred to Lothal with the promise that he would test pilot the new TIE. Incredible. Yeah, that was Empire Day sadly has to fall on Ezra's birthday, and then like it's all at his home planet too. It was just all bad for him, but it was a nice I feel like this their kind of like escape. The stakes were just like, I don't know, this felt like the first kind of like they might not make it out of this, or like they're kind of in like some real feeling like just in the shit right now. And it was nice whenever they were like hurrying away, and Ezra's like, I know a way to get back, but big shoulders over here, he's not gonna like it. And Zeb being like, that's fine, I'll figure it out. Like, and that's another cool thing is that like Zeb's rarely so accommodating. But him being like, it's all right, buddy. Yeah, like I'll figure it out. It's cool. This. Hera, meet me here.
Bro,
I've got opposable thumbs on my feet. I'm good.
Bro just climbs and meets Hera at the market, and then love that them coming back in at the last second, to save the day.
The fucking my favorite shot of that first episode is them breaking through the Imperial roadblock. I love that sequence. Ooh. I love that Ezra gets his spark back a little bit temporarily during that. Whenever Sabine's like, I don't plan on stopping, and Ezra's like, that's good to know, like, and they're all smiles, they're like ready to just fucking ram this shit. Ezra's like laughing and stuff. Like, it's so funny that like, yeah, we're about to destroy stuff. Like, woohoo! I love that. Our lives are in immediate peril.
Man, as long as you're fighting the Empire, though, if you're gonna die, that's the best way to go. If it's gonna happen, at least you gotta have fun while doing it. And yeah, that after they burst through that, like when they do the little sweep maneuver to pick him up, and Kanan leaps backwards and then just like floats into the. I was like, holy shit! I was like, yeah, that I don't know, that was cold.
That was cold. That was cold.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for Lothal, but too many streetlights on that highway. It's an ungodly amount of streetlights. The waste of electricity, like they're so close together that it's like, what the fuck are 5 of them even doing there? But anyway, that's just I feel like it's.
Well, then they have the random like the tiny tunnels. They're not even tunnels. They're just like a giant bridge of lights that are like everywhere.
Yeah,
like
I guess and maybe that's the Empire's expansion. Maybe they have like a 5-year plan for every plant. I don't know. That was kind of cool to hear about. That it's kind of like they're doing this everywhere. And on one hand, it's like we can't comprehend intergalactic civilization, all this, but. I don't know.
One of the cool crossovers here that I think this is kind of the first time we get a taste of it is the Thrawn books are also releasing roughly, like the first one released roughly at the same time as Rebel Season 1. And one of the main characters in that book is Arinda Price. They mentioned multiple times, Governor Price will be very pleased. And Thrawn ends up being, obviously, in seasons 3 and 4. Arinda Price ends up being back in the show and stuff. The 5-year plan they have for Lothal is also roughly the plan they have for the books and the show. Like it's it lasts almost about 5 years. It's not quite 5 years, but like I thought that was really cool. Like there's not a fourth wall break strictly, but like it works on that level where it's like the 5-year plan for Lothal. Like we don't plan on stopping anytime soon, sort of like. And I dug that. I like that detail. Yeah, the TIE manufacturing they plan on doing. Obviously, Thrawn has a plan there with his beefed up TIE fighters that eventually come into play that they want to construct on Lothal.
Sibo dropping the TIE fighter mass production will be operational in 6 months, and then Ezra being like, "You're just
Ezra Bridger,
you're full of
son
fun facts.
of Ephraim Bridger." Yeah,
he really just
born 15 years ago today.
He it seems that he doesn't have control of his mind, but homie's dropping like the information that everyone's wanting to know.
They need it. Yeah, they need that info.
I feel like he's still in control a little bit in there. It's not fully get out the sunken plate. He's not fully gone. Right. He's just a little bit there. But I ended up giving Taylor Gray performances for both as well. I think he was just the one that actually had to reach the most. Actually, like
sure.
I think I said last recording that like. Usually performances, it's whatever across. Like you can give it to kind of anyone here, but this one it did feel like
he is the standout.
Yeah. He actually did kind of stand out. So, and just to
whenever he's like, "What happened? What happened to my parents?" And he's like shaking Sibo and stuff. Like there's a part when he breaks down. Like when he's like, "I'm sorry." Like that whole thing. It's really really good, man. Like
telling Sabine, "My parents are dead." He's like, that's what I had to tell myself in order to survive. And then right when Sabine leaves, turning, "Are they dead?" Like it's like instantly, like it's just playing back on it. And man, I thought those scenes were just really really strong. I kind of chose the end for my scene for the second episode. It was just all the good. It felt like the best cry I've had in Rebels so far. Everything was just kind of coming together. And even back in Ezra's home, whenever they first got in there, and he's just in the basement kind of reminiscing and hearing his parents and stuff, and then Sabine walks down there, they have that moment. It's not the cry at the end of the second one, but it's I don't know, I'm starting to tear up a lot more now, and I don't think that trend will stop with Rebels. I'm pretty sure it's
no, the resonance continues to climb. Obviously we will return to some lower stakes episodes and stuff, but no, they know how to make it. They knew how to make it tick. They're good at that. And these episodes, they work so good as a little pair. The Inquisitor continues to be a really really strong villain. The way he feeds on Ezra's darkest impulses and the lingering threat he is, kind of wild that I forgot how much more prominent a villain he is than Callus. Specifically in season 1 here.
Right now, I mean, you're right. I thought Callus to be kind of the main kind of antagonist guy throughout,
and he is the first couple episodes, but like since then it's all the Inquisitor all the time. It feels like who's their main concern.
And he
kind of has to be.
And he even right here, he's like, I need to end this right now, Master and Jedi. I need to put an end to this. And like he could have like right there sliced him down, but had to egg on Ezra a little bit, had to get him to have those dark juices.
He's like,
flowing.
"Come on now, be an Inquisitor for me. How about it, buddy?"
And he was like, "Oh fuck." He's like, "Maybe I should not have messed with you, man." He's like,
"Damn."
He's like, "Well, I'll come back. I will be back for you." I think it was kind of like
that was a good tryout. Yeah, like you've made the team.
You've got the juice kid. He's got the clipboard. He's writing shit down for Ezra, but.
It's also a good couple Chopper episodes. I like Chopper in this. He's funny when he comes back online after getting shut down and he's like, what the fuck's going on? What's that? There's a part whenever Sibo puts up the tracker, and they're like, "I guess we're gonna find out if it's here." And Hera's like, "Calm down. You were gone for a couple minutes. You're back. It's okay." She's like, "Can you find that for me?" And he goes, "Bah." I'm pretty sure he's going, "The fuck is that?" That's how I took it.
I hear so many fucks through Chopper. Like he drops the like, "What the fuck?" Just all the it's Chopper he's committed. I feel like his biggest crime or kill. Maybe they didn't
so
die.
far,
I don't know,
yeah.
but he had a good time. He just had a little
he locked in
couple shots, and he goes, that wasn't good enough. He was like,
he
was like, and fucking got him and started spinning around.
In.
So,
yeah.
but no,
he even like flexes after. Yeah. I love that little like he's like, yeah, you know, like I love Chopper, man, the homicidal little freak. Yeah, no, he's fun. But
that?
I love. It's my line of the second episode. The fuck is that? Is what it sounded like to me. And they're like, just, and Hera, I think legit responds, just find it. You know, like I think it's like like he says something like that, and she's like, just do it. Yeah. So. Hera was a fun presence as well. I love whenever she's like, why do we seem extra popular? And Kanan's like, well, we picked up the Rodian the Empire's looking for. She's like, why? Well, that does seem important. You know, like she's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we can do something about that.
He might only have all of the Empire's schematics and secrets and plans and operations and everything. And Hera's like, yeah, Fulcrum will need you. We need to get everything we can off you. Poor, you know, at least he's being kind of shuffled around. Sibo, I feel kind of bad for him. He kind of did become a droid in reality, but does he ever actually get this thing off of him? Like, do we come back with Sibo and we see?
I legit don't remember ever seeing Sibo again,
because Sabine says that she's like, you'll likely never see once we drop him off to Fulcrum's people or whatever.
You'll
never see him again. And I wanted to kind of have a moment where he gets this shit off his head, you know, and he's just back to being Sibo. But maybe it just is a permanent operation. Yeah, no, his wiki ends right there. That's crazy. Yeah, this is it for Sibo.
No more Sibo. R.I.P. Sibo.
Yeah, he's just
lived
mentioned.
A long, happy life.
Wow, his voice comes in Fire Across the Galaxy. When is this? This will be episode
Probably
15
of season 1.
Yes, season 1, episode 15. His voice is heard, and that's it.
Okay.
So wow,
Sibo.
That's it.
Yeah, we see. Oh, and we were speculating either last week or the week before. I think it was last week about who knows Ahsoka is Fulcrum, and Hera legit meets with her face to face in this one, so she does.
Drop some
now. Yeah. Whether she knows the significance of who Ahsoka is and that she's a Jedi, I don't know. But she at least knows who Fulcrum is. Not to mention that they never show us Fulcrum's face, but she hops on holograms with Fulcrum where she is looking at Fulcrum's face eventually. So
I feel like if you're gonna meet like with Ahsoka face to face, like Ahsoka would be like, all right, I'll give you, like, you're in my circle a little bit more.
Here's why you should trust me, you know, kind of like that would make sense. I'd buy that.
It could. I mean, their whole strategy is not letting information out so that if you're ever captured, can't be used against you. I don't know, but I feel like if you're in that close, maybe it is a little different. But yeah, that good old. I don't know. When is the first time Ahsoka actually appears, or is it
It's the end of this season. It's the end of season 1. The end of season 1's really, really good. I'm very excited to be getting close to hitting that mark. But yeah, like the tension towards the end of the season is really, really high, and I'm interested to, because I know we've got Idiot's Array coming up, so we've got a laid back couple episodes coming up. I think they lay off the gas a little bit 10, 11, 12, but 13, 14, 15 we really we ramp it up a bit. But yeah, because we're about to meet Lando. But there is one of the funny details about this season or this episode is that Ezra was born on Empire Day, which makes him within days of the same age as Luke and Leia.
Oh wow. Empire.
However,
Yeah.
However, Leia appears in season 2 and is like obviously older than him, and it is very, very funny. Like they age her up so that she's the Leia we know, but she's not the Leia we know. She's the Leia that would be about Ezra's age, but she's not. Like that is a 20-something-year-old woman. And she seems to be animated that way. Or not 20, but like 18, 19, 20. What
Ezra.
Carrie Fisher was. Yeah, not Ezra's age.
Wow.
Older than Sabine, like definitely older than Sabine. And that's a good baseline to show someone who is roughly Ezra's age, but a little older, but she's definitely older than Sabine. So like, that's one of those funny things that was probably just an oversight, or like they just kind of were like, well, what's Leia look like? Let's animate Leia, it's obviously a grown woman voicing her. It's funny to like watch that next season whenever Leia shows up and you're like, Ezra might even be older than her technically, like canonically.
Wow. Yeah, they just needed the recognizability, because like in animation,
Probably.
maybe it'd be hard. Like maybe if you were just told before, like this is Leia, it's Leia coming up and it's younger, you're just gonna see her as not fully as you know her. I guess it might just be easier to be like, well, you know who Leia is if we make her look like the Leia you know. And but I've never even thought of the age of where kind of Ezra does slot in, or who is closest age.
Days within Luke and
Yeah,
Leia.
that's crazy. And that's a good, I don't know, that's a good cement in the timeline now. I'll never forget that one. But yeah, good old Empire Day. Is it like does their calendar even work the same? Like, does it translate to like a day that we have where like there is an Empire Day?
They have like standard years, like, so like they never actually label it anything. Like, this is their 4th of July, whatever it is.
I see.
But like,
okay, yeah, that is actually the equivalent. I was gonna say, like, do we celebrate an Empire Day? And like, well, actually,
ironically enough,
yes, since 1776 we have, or 7, whatever. But yeah, so, because in the fireworks, just now added though, that was not a thing before. So Sabine
wasn't part of the idea, but it was like that's awesome that Sabine's like, yeah, I've got a firework bomb. Mm-hmm. I've got bombs that make fireworks.
I guess.
God, she's so cool.
They are just explosions at the end of the day. So I mean, she's a weapons explosions. Yeah, she's Mandalorian. I don't know what more do you don't got to say more.
Weapons are her religion.
There.
Yep.
Yeah,
nope. I love it. I love it. But yeah, no, I mean, like, so it was a really strong couple episodes. Like you said, it was emotional. It was definitely the best of the season yet, and I'm very happy with it. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. So if you'd like, we could bridge this into trivia if you are down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess this one I feel like it's a big number, but this one you kind of have to be more on the nose for, because it's a quote. It's a specific quote that I have heard many, many times, but it is just C-3PO. He says that he is fluent in X amount of languages. And I want to know the number that he says, because he says it multiple times. He does refer to this.
Yes, he does.
And he does say this. He likes to harp on it. And how many languages does he say?
I'm fluent in it.
I had to do this too. I was like, because I know the answer, so I'm like, but could I do this? Could I say it over and over and hear the line? But
is it 10,000? North of that?
Way north. I'll give you one. I feel like one more guess. That's
okay.
Way north of 10,000 though.
Okay. Now I'm like, damn, is it a million?
Some would say.
Some would say it's a million. I'm going with 1 million. That's my second guess.
3PO says 6 million form, or 6 million different languages. The dude has it on him like that, and that's why I kind of couldn't believe it. 6 million. That was just
6 million. Like, it's just kind of an unfathomable amount of languages.
I'm using these to give like a baseline and everything. This is probably isn't as hard thought of, like how many languages there are in the universe, whatever, as like credits, like I did last time with ships. But I'm trying to like establish kind of like how many like, things are in Star Wars.
That makes sense. Like 6 million languages.
Like,
that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. Yeah, like no, I hear it now. That's why as soon as I said 10,000, I was like, it's millions. That was why, like, when you said way north, I was like, no, it's definitely millions. But I don't feel like it's that high.
Yeah.
6 million. Okay.
On Earth, 7,151 languages and 573 extinct. So
I knew we had a bunch of. I knew we had thousands of languages on Earth. So I was curious how much they would expand that.
I didn't even think we had that many on Earth. Not gonna lie. Now that's kind of nice to know. Just the real thing. But yeah, 3PO, 6 mil,
6 million forms of communication. Okay, cool. Mine much more limited. It relates to my on the spot here momentarily. That's the segment we're going to do here after the trivia on the spot, and we will explain that when we get there. But John Williams scored all 9 of the Skywalker saga films. He makes a cameo appearance in one of them. Do you know which movie that is?
I do not off the top of my head, but I think I can process of elimination. Maybe, if I think about it. I wouldn't think it'd be the original trilogy yet, but it could make sense in like the Cantina bar. That's where I could see him maybe popping up. My gut took me to a sequel movie, just because he's been known to be John Williams at that point, and he's just fucking we gotta get him in here. I feel like is where my logic takes me. And Canto Bite feels like a likely I don't know. It's another canteen, just a shit ton of people. I don't know. My gut was not Rise of Skywalker. The Last Jedi was my gut, and I guess that'll be my final answer. That'll be my guess.
The answer is a cantina of sorts. It is a bar. It is in The Rise of Skywalker.
I almost did it.
Yep,
okay,
yes,
so at last second I switched back, but that's
it's
okay.
When they go to, it's on the planet Kijimi, when they go to find Babu Frick, and they go through that bar into the back room. He's the bartender with like a cybernetic eye and stuff. John Williams.
No shit.
Yes, he is in The Rise of Skywalker as the guy behind the bar serving drinks at the droid smith.
I guess I'm glad that it wasn't like a. I feel like if
you weren't way off.
Yeah,
no, your process of elimination was right. I think that's just like as soon as you were thinking of notable like cantinas or bars, I became confident that you wouldn't think of The Rise of Skywalker because it is a very blink and you miss it thing. Whereas The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens has Maz, Canto Bite in The Last Jedi. So like, yeah, it is a little bit of a blink and you miss it, but he has a close up actually. They zoom in on his face. So, yep, John Williams appears in The Rise of Skywalker. So, cool. All right.
Okay.
6 million forms of communication and John Williams in The Rise of Skywalker. Now it is time for our segment of the week called On the Spot. Now, it is more in the vein of trivia than it is anything else. However, there is no right answer. It's all very subjective. We are putting each other on the spot. We are asking a question, and we are looking for just an honest answer in your opinion. However it looks, however it sounds to you, whatever you feel the answer is, it's the answer. There is no right or wrong. It's just to create a little conversation. But you have no idea what I'm going to ask. I have no idea what you're going to ask, and we have to come up with our answer on the spot. So no preparation. We got to do it. So since I already alluded to the fact that mine's related to my question, my trivia question, I will go ahead and ask. Like I said, John Williams scored all 9 of the Skywalker saga films. Michael Giacchino scored Rogue One, and John Powell scored Solo. What is your favorite score out of any of the movies?
Ooh.
Do you have one?
Oh, shit. I know I have a specific favorite track That's for sure. And it's, what's the name of it? It's the soft. I feel, what is the name? Oh, there's a word. Once I pull it
Across
up,
the Stars.
That's it. I felt that's the one. And is that
Attack of the Clones?
Wow, that's the first time it comes up.
Yeah.
No way. Wow, I would not have guessed that.
No. We're thinking of a different. Is it the same?
I mean, Across the Stars, like it is Attack of the Clones. Like I'm looking at it now.
Well, that's making me think. Across the Stars is the theme for Padme and Anakin. Are you thinking of the soft one that comes in when he's looking at the twin sons? That sort of like works its way up to. Do
you know the name of that? Because that would have been a New Hope.
I think it's just the Force.
That would have been.
I might be tripping.
Well, I guess because it would have been New Hope, right?
Yes, yeah, it definitely would have. I can't remember which one that is off the top of my head.
Wow, yeah, I guess whenever I go for whenever I listen to Star Wars, I listen to it all. Like
So do I.
I guess I don't favor any specific movie over the other. But if I guess Attack of the Clones, it does have that track, that the one track that I know for sure I do like that. There isn't anything just called the Force theme in A New Hope, at least. But it could just be like a rework of
Binary Sunset is what it's called. That becomes the theme.
Is it not on Apple Music? Is there 16 tracks?
It's on something called the Star Wars Sampler. It's not. It's not on the soundtrack actually, which is crazy.
Wow. Yeah, but no, it's the very soft. Yeah, and Padme and Anakin's theme, that's another good one. Leia's theme is also really really strong.
I love Leia's theme. Yeah.
But if a movie, the song that's just ingrained in my brain forever is just Mustafar, just because I like just whatever song is playing in the background of them fight, like the Revenge of the Sith. If I had to pick one, it's just the one that I have heard the most in my life. So if I guess,
there's also Duel of the Fates,
That's I do love whenever the chorus comes in with the hums or the like whatever you call that, just the choir,
the choral,
the
swell.
Oh man, that's just makes it feel so much more epic. A sleeper that I really love from the Bad Batch. It's Sid's Jukebox at her bar, and it's super Star Wars music. It's weird, and it's like it's not John Wood. I think it's the Kiners.
No, it'd be the Kiners,
probably. Yeah. And they made some funky and it's a bunch. They're long songs too. I think there's a volume 1 and a volume 2. I think, and it's just what Sid, I guess, would be bumping in her bar. But
right. I asked because I also haven't. I don't really have a favorite particular album or favorite particular for any of the movies. But if I did have to pick, that's why I got excited about Attack of the Clones, because Attack of the Clones would be my answer. Because of Across the Stars, I think that song is so good. Yoda and the Younglings. If you go to that, it's the song that plays whenever he's teaching, and Obi-Wan's like, there should be a planet right here. That song is so fucking good. But the other one, underrated, The Force Awakens. I think of every character, and this is a big statement in Star Wars, of every character, I think Rey has far and away my favorite theme. I think that twinkly that plays whenever she's connecting with all the Jedi in the Rise of Skywalker, but whenever she's introduced and she's sliding around the sand dunes and stuff, like, oh my God, is that the best? The Scavenger, one of my favorite songs. So The Force Awakens and Attack of the Clones would be my answers if I did.
Cannot forget about Mando and Book of Boba Fett. Though, like, those are just some they're
Ludwig's
themes.
Ludwig Göransson's
like a. Oh man, it's instantly Mando or instantly Boba. And I guess honorable mentions.
I think Book of Boba, I think, was Joseph Williamson, if I remember correctly.
Looks like
Let's see.
Joseph Shirley and Ludwig Göransson.
Gotcha. There we go.
But yeah, there's not really been a miss with Star Wars music. Star Wars music, it's all good. Nicholas Pertel on Andor.
I mean, they cooked. I mean, just most recently, Michael Abels on The Acolyte. God damn. There's been some good music across the galaxy. So yeah, that's why I keyed in on the movies, just to try to narrow it a little bit for you, so that you didn't have to choose from everywhere. But no, there's plenty of love to go around, because what the Kiners do for the Bad Batch, what their father did for Rebels and the Clone Wars,
we've got a
really
good
music,
a good group of musicians. Yeah, it's one part that I feel like has never been doubted or never been bad ever in Star Wars.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. So, but yeah, I guess
that and the visual effects. It's always coming through, I feel like. But
okay.
It's at least movie side of things. But yeah, so that was my on the spot. I'm all out there.
Well, this you can either, I guess, come up with your own or choose an existing person who's I guess I should explain the question first. A task for you is, if there is a character that you know of that has not been brought into canon yet that you think Star Wars needs. Like, this is like not just maybe your favorite, but kind of like Star Wars would benefit the most by picking this person and adapting their story, or you can choose an existing one, or completely create your own from scratch.
Right.
If you would like.
Okay.
If none
I don't think I'll be able to create one from scratch.
That would be
on
tough.
The spot
That's
here.
why that would be tough.
And my Legends lore is relatively limited. However,
or from guess the High Republic stuff that's canon, but like that's not, I guess, on screen. Who you want to see on screen is more the question that we have not seen on screen.
Something that all right, that's good then. Because my answer was going to be, I just finished the Darth Plagueis novel, and if they can adapt that, holy fucking shit, will that be good? Plagueis was my gut, and I know that's a stereotypical answer. I didn't want to be the guy who would love the story of Plagueis.
Yeah.
But goddamn, is it good? It's a really good story. It's just really, really cool to see the way that he manipulates Palpatine, but Palpatine's actually manipulating him, and it's really, really complicated. It's really, really good. So that's where my gut takes me. But when it comes to the High Republic, there's a lot more that I would love to see. You know, obviously we got Vernestra Rowe on screen, which was very, very fulfilling. My concern with adapting High Republic stuff is loyalty to existing material. Because as much as I would love to see Avar Kriss and Elzar Mann and Stellan Gios and characters that headline that era, I need their stories pretty much 1-to-1. Like, I do not want them to take liberties with that. Now, if they do and they can make it work, okay, but you might as well give them new names at that point. I like the characters that exist. Don't fuck with that. You know, like, so my gut would take me to the High Republic. There are, you know, whenever it comes to the intricacies of like modern canon and the shows that are going on and like people who could show up in stuff that is happening, you know, like the Acolyte, a lot of my favorite characters are human. So like they didn't live to see the Acolyte, you know?
Okay.
But like whenever it comes to like Master and Apprentice with Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, Dooku had another apprentice prior to Qui-Gon that I really, really dug. I'm trying to recall his name off the top of my head. It all gets jumbled eventually. Count Dooku's first apprentice? Let's see. Rael Averross. That's right. He sounds like he's wearing a cowboy hat. Okay. He's got this thing going on. Rael Averross. That's it. He is Dooku's apprentice. Like, there's a reason Qui-Gon turns out the way he does, and why Dooku turns out the way he does is because Dooku doesn't observe the tenets of the Order as being strictly beneficial. Rael Averross is a little bit of a slut. He likes to sleep around. He likes to have his fun. Okay. And it ultimately does lead him away from the Order. But I do think it would be really cool to see him in a post-Order 66 capacity. I would be really, really satisfied with that. Whether it's in a, pre-Empire show or he's an old fucking man post-Return of the Jedi, I think that would be cool. So my funny answer, my relatively deep cut answer would be Rael Averross. Funny enough. But Ransom Casterfo, sequel trilogy era. He's a senator who he's like a centrist and he fucking sucks. He's like Leia. He like butt heads with Leia a lot. And Leia's whole crew from Bloodline would be really, really cool to see. But Ransom Casterfo was a really interesting character who you don't like him. You're not supposed to like him, but he earns your sort of like admiration in a way. You don't end up loving him, but you're like, he's respectable. And that ends up becoming
Callous
so like
esque. Like a little, like
ish, So since it is post Empire, he was born towards the tail end of the Empire's reign. He's a young guy. He's a young senator. This is about 7 years before The Force Awakens is when Bloodline is set. So he's early to mid to late 20s. He's in his 20s though. So like he was a kid when the Empire was reigning. And he takes a fascination with their reign. His home planet was turned into a labor camp by the Empire. Vader watched over the labor camp, essentially, like he was around Darth Vader. So his fascination with the Empire is like a morbid fascination, and he believes in the centralization of government. So he has this idea that the Empire got some things right, but the abuse and the fascism is the part that was wrong, So like he comes off as an Empire sympathist, but he's not. Like he doesn't believe in the tenets of the Empire. He believes in the structure of their government, not the actions of their government. That's
perspective.
I love the books because you get to dive into shit like that where it's like never really thought of that. But so Leia is obviously anti-Empire in every single facet. She's about 20 to 30 years older than this kid. He's a hot shot on the Senate, so she thinks he's just a gung-ho. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but then he ultimately reveals that he's got a little bit of a heart. He's a little bit more than what he lets on. And so, I ultimately like Ransom Casterfo, and I think that seeing him in a sequel trilogy adjacent thing would be very, very cool. Maybe a Rangers of the New Republic, if they ever do something a little closer to the sequels than Return of the Jedi, I would dig that. So yeah, I've got a lot of answers to this question, and this is the fun of On the Spot, because if I did have a chance to prepare, I'd probably have more. But off the top of my head, Ransom and Rael Averross, those are good.
I was gonna just one quick follow up. If you would, I guess I was thinking you would have one, but maybe if you got one for both, the actor that you would like to see play them. Who you think would fill the role well.
Well, fresh off of
a cowboy, a southern star, that'd be an interesting
fresh off of Twisters. I want to go Glenn Powell.
That'd be kind of nice to get him in Star Wars.
He would kind of fit that bill, but I imagine Rael Averross as big. Like I imagine him as a pretty bulky fucking guy. I don't imagine him quite as small as Glenn Powell is. When it comes to Ransom Casterfo, That's a fun question. Let's see. I see him as a little bit flamboyant, a little bit feminine. Here, let me do some searching real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is another. I don't know. It could have sparked a whole nother conversation. I know.
Oh, but, no, it could. Like, I had a similar idea in my head for a question to ask, but because I'm thinking of somebody right now. If I'm going to give them the role of Ransom Casterfo,
Timothy's kind of coming to my mind off of
Timothy came to mind instantly, but I'm like, I think that might be a little too on the nose. Mike Faced, Challengers, or Josh O'Connor, frankly, both of them would be pretty solid. But Mike Faced is kind of where my gut took me.
I like a Mike Faced. That'd be pretty good. Yeah.
I think that's, but that was a lot easier than Rael Averross, because Rael Averross, I'm trying to think of a guy who could fit that bill. And I just don't think that guy exists with the talent I would want in a role like that, you know?
Austin Butler?
So, like, Austin Butler, again, not quite big enough.
Yeah,
like, I'm thinking like a big fucking guy. So, like, Glenn Powell is the closest I can get.
John Cena.
And that's where I'm like, he's a good actor, but he's not quite,
Batista?
If they want to, Dave Batista wouldn't be terrible. A little too old. That's the other thing, you know, like, he's, I mean, maybe not too old, you know, maybe. Batista's not a bad one. I like Dave Batista. If they wanted to gender swap him, Katie O'Brien, I'd dig that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because she's good, and she showed in Twisters that she can do a little bit of that fucking. She does a little bit of that going on. Yeah.
God, that'd be so cool. I don't want to be an actor because I feel like you do kind of have to be a little. I don't know. How do you just go to work and do that and like not fall in love? Yeah. I forgot to bring that up on Philadelphia Story. Yeah, and I was like, how do you just not fall in love with these people whenever you're working with them?
Right. But man, like, how's it possible? No, I'm with you. Like, but yeah. So, my confident one though, Ransom Casterfo portrayed by Mike Faced would be pretty cool. I would like to see that. Yeah. But yeah, all right, cool. That was a good first on the spot. I like that. I like that segment. That might be one that, I mean, frankly, we could do entire episodes of on the spot, and it would probably go pretty well. But yeah, all right. Then with that, we will conclude this episode of Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast, and we will be back next week with season 1, episodes 10 and 11 of Star Wars Rebels. So be there, be square. Follow us on Twitter at the Fulcrum Pod. We're an offshoot of the Penny Bloom podcast, so you can follow at Penny Bloom Pod as well, which is where you want to be to know everything we're doing. We'll be starting Cinementalists very soon, within the month now, and we will also be. We just wrapped up Cinema Surprise, or we will be wrapping up Cinema Surprise this Friday with The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans this Friday on Cinema Surprise, and now we're only a few short weeks away from Cinementalists kicking off with Star Wars: A New Hope live commentary. So Star Wars fans, go to the Cinementalists. Go ahead and check that out here in a couple weeks, and we'll keep you updated every week as that gets closer and closer. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, for light and life.